The scheming woman ran to the female lead's house for help. The female lead kindly offered help, but the scheming woman pushed her out of the door. Just then, a drunk man mistakenly took the female lead for his own wife. The female lead fell off a cliff accidentally while running away. The marshal came to pick up his eloping son, planning to accept the female lead as his daughter-in-law. However, his subordinate suddenly reported that something had happened to the female lead. The scheming woman, who was by the cliff, witnessed this scene and learned that the man was the young marshal. Later, the scheming woman gave birth to a child and deliberately left her daughter outside the marshal's mansion. The young marshal found the girl and adopted her. Soon after, the scheming woman applied to be a wet nurse in the marshal's mansion. 5 years passed. The scheming woman's daughter, the young marshal's adopted daughter, was deeply loved in the mansion, and the young marshal satisfied all her demands. After the female lead fell off the cliff that year, she became mentally confused due to a head injury. The biological daughter of the female lead and the young marshal had been staying by her side all the time, making a living by begging to support both herself and her mother. When the biological daughter saw the young marshal, she only regarded him as a rich man. As she ran towards the young marshal, someone stopped her and falsely accused her of stealing steamed buns. The young marshal happened to see this and came to her rescue. The girl knelt down and cried, saying she had only picked up the steamed buns after they fell on the ground. Seeing this, a passerby told the young marshal about the real situation of the girl and her mother. The young marshal was about to go see the girl's mother, but his adopted daughter urged him to take her to eat pizza. Because of this, he missed meeting his wife, the female lead, and his biological daughter. Before leaving, the young marshal told his subordinate to buy some food and a pair of shoes for his biological daughter. The girl could only watch helplessly as the young marshal ate with his adopted daughter. At this time, the female lead walked towards her daughter. When she saw the man, the young marshal, in the room, she froze. The next second, she was hit by a car. The young marshal looked out of the window subconsciously and felt an unexplained unease, but his adopted daughter asked him to focus on accompanying her to eat. The biological daughter begged passers-by for help outside helplessly, while the room was filled with a warm atmosphere. In the military governor's mansion, the scheming woman waited for the young marshal and his adopted daughter to come home, acting like the mistress of the house. She secretly felt proud, thinking no one knew that the only heir to the military governor's mansion was actually her daughter. The biological daughter came to beg the young marshal again to save her mother. The scheming woman refused to help. Just then, the young marshal, who was holding his adopted daughter's hand, happened to see this. The biological daughter quickly said she would not take the money for nothing and was willing to do all the heavy work. Seeing this, the young marshal told the scheming woman to give the girl some more money. The adopted daughter was jealous, unhappy that the young marshal was being kind to someone else. The young marshal had to comfort her and tell her stories. This scene made the biological daughter full of envy. The scheming woman took the biological daughter to the front hall. Then she took out the female lead's bracelet from the drawer, planning to frame the girl. The girl saw a photo that looked exactly like her mother. Before she could confirm it, the scheming woman rushed over, smashed the photo frame, and took the chance to tuck the bracelet into the girl's pants. The young marshal heard the noise and came over. The scheming woman falsely accused the girl of being a liar. The girl said the person in the photo was her mother. Seeing this, the scheming woman panicked. She insisted that the female lead could not have survived after falling off the cliff back then. She slandered the girl for having found out the situation in advance to cheat money. She also grabbed the girl and asked who had instructed her to come. During the struggle, the bracelet fell out of the girl's clothes. When the young marshal saw the bracelet, he decided the girl was a little liar and said he never wanted to see her again. When the girl was leaving, she accidentally bumped into the marshal. At a glance, the marshal found that the girl looked very similar to his son when he was young. He suspected that she was his son's illegitimate daughter who had been living outside. At this time, in the hospital, the female lead spat out a big mouthful of blood. Her biological daughter was so anxious that she didn't know what to do. On the other hand, the young marshal heard the scheming woman's conversation and realized he might have misunderstood the girl. The young marshal rushed to the hospital, found that there was indeed a patient with the same name as his wife, and immediately asked for the patient's ward number.